And we are back tonight at your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour on hssp.sportsjuice.com. We're up here doing the updates desk, so I guess that's me.
Yeah, I guess Chris is sitting out on this one, huh?
Yeah, he ditched us. There you go. Cool. All right, December 6th, which is actually tonight, in New York on Versus Yuri Foreman versus Andre Serkan, 10 rounds, junior middleweights.
I didn't even set the TiVo for that. I'm kind of upset that I forgot to do that.
I know, I did too. I'm looking at it now going, oh, man. Sergio Martinez versus Ozzy Duran, 10 rounds, junior middleweights. We have Edgar Santana versus TBA, 6 rounds, junior welterweights.
I'm guessing TBA is going to lose that one.
TBA's fighting 3 times tonight. Andre Perlet versus TBA, 6-round cruiserweights. Ray Robinson versus TBA, 4 rounds, junior welterweights.
I'm guessing that's not the Sugar Ray. I think it's the new Sugar Ray.
Yeah, I think so. In Newark, New Jersey tonight, Sean George versus Thomas Reed, 10 rounds, light heavyweights. December 7th, which will be tomorrow night in Las Vegas on Telefutura, Bronco McCart versus Enrique Ornelas, rematch, 12 rounds, middleweights. John Murray versus Miguel Angel Mungi, 10 rounds, lightweights. Craig McEwen versus Alfredo Contreras, 8 rounds, middleweights. Carl Dargan versus Roberto Norris, 4 rounds, junior welterweights. In Miami on Telemundo, Alejandro Hernandez versus Carlos Tamara, 12 rounds, flyweights. Alex De Jesus versus Steve Quinones, 12 rounds, junior welterweights. Jan Bartholomew versus Luis Angel Rios, 6 rounds, flyweights. In Montreal, Joaquin Alcine versus Alfonso Mosquera, versus 12 rounds for Alcine's WBA junior middleweight title. Jean Pascal versus Brian Norman, 10 rounds, super middleweights.
Yeah, Pascal's coming up through the ranks pretty quick here. So look forward to that part.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. In Biloxi, Mississippi, Ezra Sellers versus Kenny Craven, 10 rounds, heavyweights.
Craven's win. He's craving a win, isn't he?
Yeah, you'd think. He's craving a win. That's good. Yeah. Jason Papillon versus Willie Lee, 8 rounds, middleweights. Gabe Brown versus Aaron Lyons, 6 rounds, heavyweights. And the big one, which we're all waiting for, December the 8th, in Las Vegas on HBO pay-per-view, Floyd Mayweather versus Ricky Hatton, 12 rounds for Mayweather's ring WBC welterweight title. Jeff Lacey versus Peter Manfredo, that ought to be interesting. 10 rounds super middleweights. Daniel Ponce DeLeon versus Eduardo Escobedo, 12 rounds for Ponce DeLeon's WBA junior featherweight title. Wes Ferguson versus Edner Cherry, rematch, 10 rounds, lightweights. And in Gary, on December the 14th, which is next week, at Buffington Harbor at the Majestic Star Casino, we have Gary's own NABC light welterweight champion, Merciless Mary McGee. We have Hammond's own Ruben Galvin versus, oh, this is an epic rematch, versus Gary's own Jermaine Too Sweet White.
I don't know if it's epic, but we'll be there to watch it.
Yes. And Gary's own Don Moore and Hammond's own Jimmy Perez. All proceeds being donated to charity.
How can they get tickets, Nestor?
They can get tickets by calling Ticketmaster at 312-559-1212 or 219-791-1234. Doors open at 7. First fight begins at 8.
Marvelous. We are running a little bit late, but we are going to get to this topic tonight, boys, because this is one of those topics that simply will not die. We can touch upon it tonight. We can even finish up on it next week, if that's cool, Emil. Ring Magazine. Now, this is your baby, so I will let you just run with it.
Yeah, Ring Magazine. I got it here in my hand. Has Ricky Hatton on the, or not Ricky Hatton, has Kelly Pavlik on the top. I had to look at it again. Kelly Pavlik's on the front, who's on this list as well. It's boxing's biggest punchers, top 10, and I looked through this and I seen about 3 or 4 guys that could have very easily made this list that were left off, and I had a few guys that were on this list that I could have seen not making this list as well. And I'm not necessarily sure that I'm happy with the order that they're in either. I figure we kind of break this all down and go through starting at number 10 and work our way backwards and talk about each one of these fighters and what we think about their power.
Craziest thing is there's only one heavyweight on there, and I don't like where he's at.
Yeah, there's only one heavyweight on there. There was also the next 10 list that Sam Peter was on that list that you said should have probably been.
I think Sam Peter probably belongs in the top 10. Let's start with number 10. Pardon me. Israel Vazquez. He happens to be 42-2 with 31 wins by knockout. He's got a 67% knockout percentage, and he fights at junior featherweight. Israel Vazquez.
Yeah, he's kind of known for that knockout that he had over Marquez. I don't know. This would be one of the guys that I don't know if I would put on this list. 67% knockout rate. I mean, at the weight class that he's fighting at junior featherweight, that's still pretty high for junior featherweight. But
it is, but his level of competition was not that great for his first 25 fights.
There's another junior featherweight that's on this list that much higher than him, and I do believe it belongs on this list. This is the guy that one of the guys I would take off to get one of my three guys that I would want to put on.
Yeah. Well, number 9 also is someone that I could easily get rid of. He has only impressed us very, very recently.
Yes.
David Haye, 19-1, 18 wins by knockout. He's got a 90% knockout percentage, but come on now. Who has he fought?
Yeah, he hasn't faced the competition.
Who has he fought? David Haye, he does have a really, really crazy win just recently, actually.
Yeah, over Mormek.
Yeah, Jean-Marc Mormek, former cruiserweight champion of the world. 90% knockout percentage. Very impressive, but who has he fought?
I think that's one of the highest on here. It's not the highest because there's a guy on here that's, I think, 100% that we'll be getting to in a little bit. But, yeah, he's another guy that I would probably take off to get my second guy in here in the top 10. I don't know if I would squeeze these guys that I'm going to be adding on at the bottom of this list. They might squeeze in a little bit higher, but going on to the next guy, he's another cruiserweight, and this guy I do believe belongs on this list. I believe he has knockout of the year so far.
He is Mr. Dingaling, man. Darnell Wilson, 22-5-3 with 19 of his 22 wins being knockouts. Knockout of the year over Nwodo. He's a cruiserweight, and he has a 63% knockout percentage.
Now, it's a low knockout percentage, but this guy does hit extremely hard. You've seen him win over that win over Nwodo, and really blasted him, caused his legs to actually fall out behind him. There's actually a nice photo of him landing that punch as well in the Ring magazine as well.
It was downright vicious. If you haven't seen it, I don't know what you've been doing this year.
Yeah, you can. I'm sure there's a spot on YouTube to check that out. I might see if I can find it and link it up to this video.
Number 7, one of Emil's favorite fighters. Definitely a very exciting fighter at flyweight. Very, very exceptional power. Vic Darchinyan, 29-1 with 23 knockouts. 79% knockout percentage.
And he's
highly impressive.
Yeah, he's known for his power. I do believe he belongs on this list as well. Him and Cotto are the two guys that I like probably the most, and only one of them made this list.
I'm surprised Paul Williams isn't on this list.
Paul Williams is more known for his punching output than his power, though. He knocks people out more by accumulation of punches and ends up hurting them that way, and that just sets up a bomb towards the end. But I'm sure Paul Williams has a high knockout rate as well, and he's not even on the next 10 list.
He's not even top 20 then, as far as Ring Magazine is concerned. Moving on down, number 6, Kermit Cintron, 28-1. 26 wins by knockout, 90% knockout percentage at welterweight. Kermit Cintron has impressed me for years. His loss to Antonio Margarito, all that really did was expose the fact that he was being pushed a little early. I think he went against a marquee fighter just a bit earlier. Would you agree, Nestor?
Yes.
I don't think he belonged in there with Margarito just yet.
No. He should have had a few more fights to work his way into it. I really do.
Well, his last fight as well, he had trouble knocking the guy out.
We might not see him fight for a while either.
Yeah, because of the what was it, broken hand or broken wrist? I don't know, but he hurt his hand. But for welterweights, the only welterweight that I would put on this list is Cotto, and he's not ranked on here. I don't know why he's not ranked on here. And,
I don't see why Cotto isn't above Cintron.
No.
He should be on. If you're going to put one welter on there as a puncher, damn if it's not Miguel Cotto.
I'm going to run through this next 10 list real quick before we go on, since it's on this page, we've already named 3 guys that I consider to take off this list. Yeah. And let's go through the next 10. It's Arthur Abraham, who's 24-0 with 19 KOs, with his big win over Miranda. That was probably his most famous fight.
That was more of an upset, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jorge Arce is another guy on this list. 47-4, 1 draw and 36 KOs. O'Neal Bell, 26-2-1 with 24 coming by knockout. Andreo Guerrero, 26-4 with 25 KOs. And then Mikel Cotto, who's 30-0 with 25 KOs. Rafael Marquez, 37-4 with 33 coming by knockout. Miranda, 28-2, 24 by KO. Miranda's one that I would definitely want to put on this list.
Of course.
Sam Peter, another guy that you mentioned that should be on this list, 29-1.
And I said that before I saw the list.
Yeah.
He needs to be there. I don't get that.
29-1 with 22 by knockout. Giovanni Segura, who we see a lot in Chicago, has a lot of power at his weight class, but I don't know if he would make this list in my accounts, but he has a pretty good knockout rate as well. 18-0-1 with 14 coming by knockout. And Ricardo Torres rounds up this next top 10 next list with 32-1 with 28 coming by knockout. Now the 3 guys that I would put in here are Cotto, Miranda, and who was the 3rd guy?
Peter.
And Peter.
Yeah. They probably belong on here.
Yeah, all 3 of those guys would definitely make my list. But going on with the rest of this list.
Yeah, let's fly through the top 5 because they really don't deserve too much fanfare because we pretty much know who we're talking about. Edwin Valero's 22-0, 22 knockouts. Absolute 100% perfect record as far as knockouts.
Yeah, not only 22 knockouts, 19 of them came in the first round. They might not have been against giants of the ring.
No, but he was at one time 19-0 with 19 knockouts and all 19 in the first round.
Yeah.
That was a little while ago, but damn if I'm not impressed with that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if it was his first 19 were first round, but I know he has had 19. I thought it was 18 of his first 19.
That is a possibility. At least 18 of them were in the first round, and it was consecutive.
Yeah.
The first 18.
I believe he's fighting here coming up as well.
Yeah, he is. Kelly the Ghost Pavlik, 32-0, 29 knockouts, 91% knockout percentage, middleweight. Would Kelly Pavlik appear on this if he hadn't just knocked out the middleweight champion of the world?
I don't know.
I don't see why he wouldn't.
Nestor. No, do you think he would show up if he hadn't just
being
knocked
lost,
out?
Yeah.
I don't mean lost. What if he never got the fight? Would he still be on this list?
Well, you would think so. I mean, the guy's still, even if he was 31-0 with 28 knockouts.
He knocked out Miranda.
You're still talking.
Miranda would be the thing that would have a good chance of landing him on this list.
I think he's lucky to be on this list by Ring Magazine. I think he's on this list because he's on the cover.
Well, he's on. I don't know. I think he belongs on. Don't you think he belongs?
I'm not saying he doesn't belong. I think there's other guys that belong too, though.
I think he belongs maybe a slightly lower than where he is right now because I don't know how Cotto is not it. Cotto should be top 3.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And not only is he not top 10, he should be top 5, maybe even top 4, in my opinion.
I'd have him top 3 because the number 1 guy I would not have in the top 3.
I think you're right there. Kelly Pavlik's number 4. Number 3 is Manny Pacquiao. We all know all about him. I don't have to go through his numbers. Ponce DeLeon, 33-1, 30 knockouts, 88% at junior featherweight. Ponce DeLeon has some really great knockouts. 88% knockout percentage. That's damn impressive.
Yeah, and he hits very hard. This is the guy that I was saying earlier at junior feather. He does have the power at this weight class, and he has more power than anybody in those lower weight classes.
He's smacking them all around. And as of Ring Magazine, the number 1 biggest puncher for 2007 is Wladimir Klitschko. 49-3, 44 knockouts, 85% knockout percentage. Heavyweight. Obviously, he's the best-known heavyweight champion that we have right now.
Now, do you think that's why he's on this list? Because he's the best-known champion right now at heavyweight. Heavyweight's the division that everybody consider hits the hardest.
Nestor, I want your opinion before I answer. Does he land number 1 because we want people to care about our heavyweight champions?
You know,
why is he number 1?
I think that's probably the only reason he is number 1. Heavyweight is the division that everybody considers boxing. and you certainly don't want to have a top 10 boxing, hardest or biggest punchers or best knockout artist without having a heavyweight in it. It would be kind of senseless.
I think the fact that this list was even compiled shows that the sport has shifted since the days of Muhammad Ali, because there were no hardest punching polls back then. It was who ran the ring best, and Ali was your
champion, right?
And a guy that ran the ring pretty well, and Chris Bird is a guy that doesn't have much power and is two of the blemishes here on, as you would say.
I just don't see. I have trouble with Klitschko's number one. I really do.
Does he belong top 10 for biggest punches?
Well, with his record, I would think so. I mean,
records are nice. Records are nice.
But it's the only thing we got to go by.
Klitschko has fought big names, which is one thing he's got going for him.
Yes.
He's fought huge names. He's beaten most of the guys he's ever fought.
I mean, but he's lost quite a few. And like I said, heavyweight is the division that everybody considers hitting the hardest. But the way I'm looking,
it at least better be. It at least better be.
Because if you looked at Klitschko hitting someone like Ponce DeLeon, he'd probably kill him.
Well, yeah, you've got to take it's all relative to your weight class. But yeah, the fact that Cotto is not on this is in my estimation criminal.
Yeah,
it's beyond just being negligent. Ring Magazine, you've got some splaining to do.
A guy that weighs 147 is breaking people's bones almost in every fight that he fights, and does not make this list, is a little ridiculous. I would have him top 3. I would take Klitschko out for sure. I'd probably leave Ponce DeLeon in there and Pacquiao in there both, because they're
Pacquiao belongs right where he's at. I mean, I skipped right over him because there's so much press on Pacquiao, but if I was wearing a hat, I would definitely take it off to Manny Pacquiao, because he brings something to this sport that hasn't been around in a while. I mean, you could go back to Alexis Arguello and Roberto Duran and days like that, and Ruben Olivares to really get the excitement that Pacquiao brings to the ring. And damn if I'm not excited every time that guy gets in there. So the fact that he's not going to be fighting in Chicago, he's not going to be fighting David Diaz, a WBC lightweight champion, that he's instead going for his second fight, sort of a proving ground, which might be a good name for this promotion, to see who really deserves to be on top between him and Juan Manuel Marquez. I simply cannot wait.
No, I can't either.
Simply cannot wait.
But that's their list. We're kind of pressed for time, so we'll go. What we could do next week is go for the guys that they have a list here of top 10 guys that don't need power to win. And I mentioned Chris Bird. They're not ranked They're not ranked in order of 1 through 10, but they are listed alphabetically. We can maybe put them in our own order of how we want to put them, and probably bring a couple guys to the table that they didn't bring up as well.
I would agree, and I can't wait for next week just to see how that list ends up. Tonight's Golden Leaf fighter you should know is Pedro Montañez, also known as El Torito. Born April 24th, 1914 in Haye, Puerto Rico. Widely regarded as one of the all-time great boxers from Puerto Rico, Montañez began boxing in 1931 and captured the Puerto Rican lightweight championship in the year 1933. A European tour followed, and El Torito registered victories in Spain, France, England, and Italy. The Puerto Rican pugilist was, try to say that 10 times fast. The Puerto Rican pugilist was next showcased in New York City, and he quickly became a sensation. Wins over Aldo Spaldi and Frankie Click, among others, set up a non-title bout with lightweight champion of the world at the time, Lou Ambers. Montañez won a 10-round decision and was dubbed the uncrowned champion. Impressive wins over formidable foes Eddie Ryan, Wesley Ramey, and Freddie Red Cochran set up a title go with Ambers on the September 23, 1937 Carnival of Champions show at the Polo Grounds in New York City. Although he was defeated for the first time, a loss after 15 rounds, Montañez bounced back to continue his winning ways in bouts with Jackie Kid Berg and young Peter Jackson. He retired in 1940 with a 92-7-4 with 54 knockouts record. After hanging up his gloves, Montañez trained up-and-coming fighters and found success as a businessman. He died on June 26, 1996. Born 1914, died 1996. He had 103 total bouts, guys. He won 92 of them. He lost 7 times. He drew 4 times. 54 of his 92 wins came by way of knockout. He was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame of Canastota, New York in the year 2007. Tonight's Golden Leaf fighter you should know, Pedro Montañez, El Torito.
I can't wait for Mayweather and Hatton, or this weekend.
It is Mayweather.
Yeah, I was going to say De La Hoya for some reason.
He's not fighting.
But I can't wait for that fight this weekend. Why don't you run down our picks real quick and
picks real quick. Jimmy Holmes says that Ricky Hatton is going to be winning in the 9th round by TKO. Emil says Hatton decision December 12th. Decision after 12 rounds. Nestor Garza Romero picks Hatton 11th round TKO. Tim, the producer Patterson, picks Mayweather. I almost said Mayorga. Mayweather, unanimous decision after 12 rounds, and I pick Hatton to get a TKO victory in the 10th round.
And that fantasy boxing league, that's basically how you do your picks right there.
That is exactly how we do our picks. You get points established on whether you pick the correct fighter to win, and what round, and what method that the fighter ends up winning, which is kind of cool. Where did Tim go? Because I wanted to talk to him about something.
I don't know.
Possibly ending the show.
Just go ahead and finish it up, and I'll stop it. We'll fire him. He must be taking a deuce.
Nestor Garza Romero on my far right. Emil set up Babinski Kegavan on my near right. Timmy, the producer Patterson. Special thanks to Jimmy Holmes tonight, the fighting school teacher of DeMont, for taking the time out of his evening to allow us to call him at home. I know he's a busy guy, opening the DeMont Boxing Club, also in a band, in church. Has a big old family to take care of as well. He's just a great guy. He's our good friend. I am your host, Chris Guzman, wishing you peace and punches. This has been your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour, brought to you by George Rogie Insurance, www.hssp.ccsportsjuice.com. Save us a ringside. Thanks, Timmy.